Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
What's up? Seriously Dead. Times have changed, but family's still the same. How are you entertaining yourself? How are you entertaining your family? Seriously Dead.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously, Dad? Two father comedians out of Philadelphia. Seriously, Dad?
Dad? Seriously?
Dad?
Seriously? Seriously?
Yo, Seriously Dead. What's up, brother?
Dude, living the dream.
Dreams are being lived. I gotta say that with more embarrassment. The dream has been lived.
Dreams are being lived.
Dreams are being lived.
Yeah, I'm still living that dream, Martin. So, how's your son, bro? About done?
Summer's over. Summer's gone, right? We've been talking about back to school,
Yeah.
and like now it's like I miss it because that's when you get to do all the fun like excursions. I mean, yeah,
Entertainment in the summer is like a different.
yeah,
like a
well,
different
'cause,
thing.
yeah, you want to go places, you want to do things, you want to like even just stuff like water parks, like even like not even like water parks like fancy water parks you go to, but just most towns now
Sahara
have like
Sands and shit,
have
like
like
these little-
splash pads or like there's air. You know, back in the day, they just you would they would open up the fire hydrant on the side. You know what I mean? Like
Or swim in open water. We swam in a
in
lot
the
of open
day.
water when I was a kid.
Kensington yesterday.
yeah.
What are you talking
But I mean,
about?
they do that because that's they've
Yeah,
been
you're
doing
right.
that forever. Like in the neighborhoods where you didn't have a pool,
No.
but nowadays it's not uncommon for communities to be building into their parks an area that's a splash park, where it's just you can have the kids can go play and it's free and it's just the water.
Philly, we got one on Poplar. That's not too far. There's a couple. I wish the pools were open longer, given how hot it's gonna.
We're just trying to keep. I
It's
mean,
supposed to get warmer, right?
well, we're fighting a battle to keep kids outside and keep kids doing the things that we were intuitively doing. Like you went out in the morning, you didn't
Fucking
come
play it all
home
day.
till the
A
evening.
child's entertainment will take you thinking of what to do, right? Like if you do something a little more than average, right? Because every weekend you can go to the park, you can go to like the ball field. If you try to crank it up just a tiny bit, not full on, we're going to Ireland together as a family, just something, crank it up a tiny bit. It still takes a ton of fucking planning. Kind of the stars have to align, and then it's fucking expensive, and it's not as easy. Like to provide entertainment for a kid is not as easy as probably when I was a kid. My entertainment was cheap. It was easy. Like me, I was outside on a bike.
Bike, that's
Just
it.
that was it. I was outside on a bike, and then I was outside on a skateboard. Then I was at a basketball court, and then I was at some girl's house, like trying to impress her. That was me going all the way. Up. That was what it was.
And that was just kindergarten.
Yeah, that was 1 year.
Allied game strong.
But now you gotta
like
take
the caveman version of
Yeah, like that.
Albert.
Okay,
Just
the last
hurling
picture is
various
just me
balls.
like
Yeah.
trying to put my arm around some girl who doesn't fucking like me.
For whatever reason, the last 2 weeks, my daughter's gotten really into her bike that I bought her like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Is a frozen bike. And
All
she
right.
finally is into it. And it's cool because now every day she gets off the bus. The last week, we went and just the neighborhood because we have a pretty residential, like we're on sort of a rural street. So I just have to they're really good about watching for the cars and
Oh, the
staying on
burbs
the
are good with that
side.
shit. The burbs are good with that
And then once we get into the neighborhood about a block up, then we just do this little loop. It's a nice little 30-minute deal. Perfect. And so I'm glad she's doing that kind of stuff because that's the kind of stuff you want kids doing.
Yeah, I'd rather have a kid outside playing or playing with a ball or baseball, basketball, football, riding a bike than like in front of a screen.
Yeah.
I guess if she was inside like doing puzzles or something, I think I'd be okay with that. Like Annie plays chess, I'm cool with that. But it's like that artificial entertainment. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
I
that
love
bullshit.
watching the girls because we have an open floor. The house is pretty open, so like watching them play is kind of cool, and they're great because they have like LOL dolls. So then they have a little area where they have like a little, little house, dollhouse.
Yeah, they got
Actually,
the dollhouse, and they got all
but then
the
they're
fucking
really into
LOLs.
these. Have you seen these tiles that are magnetic?
On all four sides.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Like
so we have this
three-dimensional thing.
pack of these that a teacher didn't want anymore, so we brought them home, and they love playing with those.
Yeah, like that's the better way.
puzzles. They were doing a puzzle today.
Yeah.
I was excited. I was
I'm
like,
cool with puzzle.
Yeah, I'm
anything
down.
anything that requires you to like use your brain or your body more than just droning out on like a device or something. I'm all about. I'm
Yeah.
all about that. Now, hold on. You mentioned the bike. Has she like ate shit on this bike yet?
she won't do it without the training wheels.
Okay.
She won't do it.
That is fucking scary because you know they're gonna fall.
I've seen her face a couple times when she like even with the training wheels
yeah.
like caught herself, and she's so tentative and she's being so timid, and I'm trying not
to hover on that shit because you got to
Yeah,
eat
'cause
shit,
you're-
right? You got to eat shit on the
I
bike.
can't wait to
and
be
I
a
also
dad
don't want
for
to
this
push
exact
her.
reason.
I don't want to push her too hard because that's the other thing is like then she's gonna feel that. I don't want there to be
this
that.
this is not your bike experience. It's her bike experience.
Yeah, so but she's
Yeah.
excited. She was just telling me today she wants to ride her bike for Halloween. Like that's how she wants to go.
So like a
basically the
nice.
route we've going is what we do for Halloween.
As ET or something, she could go as like that'd be so cool, dude. Little basket out front, you put a
so
little
smart.
ET in there,
Dude,
She's
that's a
riding her
win.
bike.
She's Elliot.
She doesn't.
That's a win.
She doesn't
Done.
know that movie.
Yeah.
No, she probably
No,
does. I hope.
That's
so.
our entertainment. That was
But,
our screen
well, you
time.
might be able to
EP.
show it to her. Maybe she likes it, and then
She's weird with. I'm gonna.
you don't want to force
try
it. Yeah, but speaking of
I
forcing,
think that's smart.
but for you dads, like I've always thought, because I think whoever taught me how to ride, it must have been just either my sister or my mom, my oldest sister or my mom. They taught me how to brace myself. Like, have you
They
done
taught you
any
how to-
of that?
they taught you how to fall? No one taught me how to fall.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
we
I learned in
no,
martial arts. I learned.
Oh,
how to
like fall on the ground.
no, I
not
meant
off
on a bike. Like,
But
no,
usually, if you're falling off a bike, like you're right. No, it would not like in that regard. You just.
And I was very young. There was no martial arts. I
Well,
was
even
riding a bike.
basketball, like we were learning how to fall.
Oh yeah, you
take
gotta know
a
how to
charge.
fall in that. But not when I was biking. Not when I was
because-
bike riding.
No.
I feel like no one's using the training wheels. At least in my head, usually they're adjustable, and usually you can put them up higher.
So there's more of a.
so that then you start to train. Put your feet out. Put a foot out to hold, just in case you do lose your balance.
okay.
And then they get comfortable that way. That's what I always thought. I'm so excited to be a dad one day, guys.
was it hard for you to ride a bike?
No, I mean I think from what my mom recollects, apparently it was, but like I was like
you don't-
by the
do you
time I was
remember?
like 12, like that's all I did. So I don't remember if it was.
Oh.
I remember being afraid. I remember hitting like tree branches on a thing and like
Yeah.
falling over and getting scraped up and the fear. I had one where we were going down a steep hill and I thankfully was able to turn, but I got paralyzed. And I was like, if I just keep straight, I'm going to go down an even bigger hill.
Oh, you got like paralyzed by fear.
Yeah, I got paralyzed
Wow.
by fear, and that's what I see with my younger daughter. She gets those moments where she gets very fearful, and if you poke her with it, it just sends her into even
You got
a
to back the
deeper
fuck up. You
hole.
gotta
So
back
it's
up.
like I gotta really pull back.
I have very distinct memories of riding my bike.
Yeah.
Very distinct memory of that time in my life. My dad, my sister, and I going to a park. So I got a scooter first, and Gabrielle got a bike. Gabrielle's 2 years older than me. So I'm scooting around. We used to go to Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem. I think it was on like 123rd or something, right? Anyway, and they had like the outside baseball court where you could play baseball on cement pretty much, and there'd be no one there and we'd be riding. And I remember when Gabrielle got her training wheels off and I saw her on two wheels, I was like, nah, fuck that. And I put my scooter down. I was like, you got to show me that. And then like I ate shit a couple times and then I just knew how to ride a bike. But I was falling hard. I remember I was all kinds of banged up. And it's when you're in the other seat and you know that your kid is going to fall and she's going to cry and there's probably going to be blood and she may be afraid of her bike. It's very scary to watch them on the bike. It's right. Do you feel that way? Like it's fucking tough.
Well, I just tell her like, I just brace myself. I know it's gonna happen.
You know
I'm
it's
like-
gonna happen.
And when I'm like, baby, you're gonna fall. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. So
Yeah.
Elbow pad, knee pads,
she
helmet
wears
on.
a helmet.
I mean, for the fall when you have to make that kick over, that was at least for me because they had gotten us roller skates. So when I had gotten roller skates and a bike like close together, I think, and I mean like roller skates, not like inline stuff.
like
I mean, I'm
rollerblades.
talking.
No.
That's why I'm
Skates.
good at skating to
Yeah.
this day. But like, got those, and I remember being like having my sister being like, put all this stuff on because you're gonna eat it, and these are the worst spots. Like, just put it all. on.
When they roller skate, they have a set in the
The
basement.
wrist guard's important.
And they have elbows. So she has them. So maybe that'll be something that when I eventually get her to
Yeah, I
a
would throw
place
those- I
where
would
she's
slap
going to
those
take
on.
the
Yeah,
training
sure.
wheels off, she can put those on.
I was
gonna be-
She has them because they were roller skating for a minute or went to a roller skating party, and then sometimes in the basement they'll use it with the walker.
You know what? Can you pull out what is the rate of like broken bones from when we were a kid until now?
Oh,
Do you know any kids that have broken bones? Like, you're a teacher. You would see more than I do.
I mean, yeah,
I don't think any of them.
but not like I don't think it's as prevalent. Like snowboarding is usually the number one culprit that I've been seeing in recent years with kids coming in on crutches all of a sudden.
Because don't you remember when there's always a kid who had
I
the
always
wrist, who had the wrist
I
cast
broke
on.
so
There's
many
always
bones.
someone. We were always signing casts.
8th grade, I punched the wall. So I broke my collarbone in
Punched the
2nd
wall?
grade. And when I was 2, I broke my collarbone, fell down the stairs,
Ooh,
basement
yeah,
stairs
that
with my
sounds-
grandparents. So I had an arm cast and a collarbone brace on. Then when I was in 8th grade, I lost at knockout. So I
Oh, the basketball game.
And I punched. Yeah, it was a basketball practice, and so I punched. You never have the auditorium doors, but they have the pads that were like
Yeah.
5 inches thick.
Yep.
I punched the pad, but
You broke
I
your
broke
hand.
my hand.
Yeah, a very good friend of mine did that.
I roller skating. I broke my left ankle.
Your ankle?
6th grade.
Yeah, broken bones were like part of. Now there's no broken bones. I don't think none of Lane's friends have broken anything yet.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I just don't think that they're not out like we were. Like we were adventuring. We were outside all day long, and I don't see you have to push them out the door now because they're all playing
and
other
it's
things.
like weird because even like, and I agree with you, but like, I think about my daughters. I'm like, I can't just like kick her out of the house and let her go. I'm like, I've seen too many. There's been too many Taken movies out for me to allow my daughter.
And you do not have any of those skills,
Yeah,
so you'd be
like-
fucked.
So it's just like can't like. So I think there's another aspect, but you're right. Like there's this concept of if it's not organized or they're not doing it, and so it's like it's on. Like I feel a lot of responsibility. Like Amanda and I looked at the schedule, and it's like all right now it's like cheerleading, gymnastics, soccer, and then piano.
Oh,
so
your
Girl
kids
Scouts.
are doing it. Your kids are doing a lot.
Yeah, like every day they have something.
Yeah. Okay. So that's, I know a lot of kids that don't do anything, but I also know, like, as a parent, like we were talking, like to go entertain it is kind of it's a challenge.
But even that's only 2 hours. It's like 1 hour, 2 hours here and there. But like the rest of the time, you want them playing, even if they're just playing around the house. Or like yesterday, Katie had a friend over from gymnastics,
Nice.
and they just ran around because we have like a little gym in our basement. Like she has a balance, like a legit balance
Yeah, the
beam.
little foam one, or
No,
like
we have a
wood
little foam
Oh.
one, but we have a legit one
Oh
too.
wow. Okay.
And then she has like a hanging bar.
Okay.
And a little mini trampoline thing in the house, and then we have a big trampoline outside.
Oh, your house is the shit, dude.
So it's like we got like
That's the house you
it,
hang
it
out at,
doesn't
right?
look fancy. Like it's not like you're not walking into like a beautifully finished basement. It looks like Rocky's gym. But
Okay.
like
Well, she's gonna be
like, it's
hardcore
got
then.
all the
Fuck.
pieces. But yeah, actually, and I have downstairs 2 baseball things. I have a baseball net, like a tee, a full on tee that I did, hit into a
Yeah.
tee, and then I have a thing that I wrap around a bar that has a baseball.
Oh,
on
you just
it,
keep on taking
and
cuts.
I just keep.
You ever do that to relieve
it's great 'cause
stress?
It's good cardio.
You ever do that just
Yeah,
like
that's why I go
zone
down
out
with
and
the same
just
to tent.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's like fun. Like so that's what I did for a lot of it because I play adult baseball before COVID. That's what I did on Sunday nights. Like,
Yeah.
I played in a couple men's hardball leagues. We used Villanova's baseball stadium as our home field.
That's nice to say.
And then we got to play in Blue Rocks for the championship, which is the Wilmington one. Which is
Oh,
kinda cool.
nice. I remember with the family having like remember movie night, right? Remember we used to do the fucking movies, VHS, Blockbuster. Remember that life?
Dude, we had a
That was a pretty good
pizza
life.
shop that had it before the Blockbuster era. There was a pizza shop we would go to in the small town where we lived in Susquehanna, and it had like little ledges built along the side with. So if the VHS was behind it, you could rent that and get your pizza.
Yeah.
and then you just returned the movie to Ron's Pizza on Monday or whatever.
We used to
you
go to
know?
a place where you could rent like a Super Nintendo or like a Sega because I didn't have.
You could
one.
actually rent the system.
rent the system.
They come. Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
bro, you get some pizza, a 2-liter, the system, 2 of your boys over. That was a night.
$3.18. So we eventually got a Video King, I think it was called, which was like the knockoff of like
Blockbuster.
And this must have been like, I don't know, 1995. And like all I remember is it cost $3.18 with tax.
Nice.
So like the goal was either find all the cans you could at 5 cents or whatever to get $3.18.
I forgot you were in the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But you would go there and you would see your classmates and shit, right? You would see people you knew because where I lived, everyone was at the video store.
Well,
Everyone was doing the same shit on Friday night.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it. You're like, oh, what's up, bro? How you doing?
I bet that whole culture of Blockbuster Video and not knowing, like going in, not knowing what you're going to pick. Now with, the ubiquity of phones, well, going in, you're like,
Oh yeah, I just realized, Jay, you're right. The entire like the big stereotype now of like people just spending all the time like looking at trailers and never picking anything. That was the Blockbuster. That's what we
Yeah,
did.
that was
We'd
the
spend like
Blockbuster
20
video.
minutes,
Yeah,
like
right,
trying
yeah.
to pick something. I don't want to watch that. You want to watch this?
You would read the back of the
Read the back.
the thing. And,
Oh
yeah.
God, that's not a thing now. That's like it's all the
right.
same. Nothing changes.
Oh man.
it is. That is true. That's what you realize. Like when everybody gets all up in arms about anything being new. I was reading this book for school a couple years ago, and they talked about how like people are getting freaked out by technology. But like the blackboard, when the blackboard
That
was
was technology.
invented, that was people were throwing a fit that it was going to be the downfall of society because kids weren't going to memorize anymore because they were going to be able to
Just look up there and
copy it
see.
down or see it and we were babying them too much.
Yeah.
And it's just like but that's what it is. It's like bell bottom jeans. They just keep coming back.
Oh, God,
Reiteration
just got
of
bell
it.
bottoms.
God, could
Yeah.
you just imagine an 1850s child who's just like, I've got a wizard on a board. Like they're blown away just by a piece of crummy chocolate. I think, yeah, man, wow.
Yeah.
I remember going, Jesus Christ. I remember going to the video place and where they had the porno room, right?
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you have did it have a partition or did it have
And
beads?
the Western doors.
Oh, the Western
And the
doors.
Western doors. Yeah, I remember. I
Howdy,
don't know
partner. I'd like to produce you some of that porn you got going on in there. I'm of age.
Woo, you gotta kick the door over with the belt buckle. I remember like I had already picked out my videos and just like walking back and forth, hoping that like the door would swing open and I could just see
Right.
Just get a
any of that magic that was back there.
Well, it was like the pay-per-view channel. You had to wait for it to go clear for just a second.
yeah,
a
that was, and then you had to rewind them. Remember that shit? You had to rewind them.
I was a little like, it still had it on the box, and I typically would do because I'm a dork. But yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
rewind
But after a while, I don't think that was. I don't remember like when Blockbuster was kind of coming out, like like
Some
getting
places
out.
would charge you if you
They
didn't.
charge you if you rewind them.
Right.
Fuck
If you
yeah.
didn't rewind, and that's
Be
that
kind,
should.
rewind.
Be kind,
Right.
rewind.
That
It's
was the
simple.
slogan. That was how they got
But then
you.
DVD, and then a DVD era came out. You remember there were laser discs
Yeah.
for a hot minute. You remember these things?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
it's like
were-
a record.
They were like
right?
a
It was
giant.
big-
But nobody like
had the player.
It was almost like before VHS. What was there? Betamax. Or
So
Beta-
that's Paul F. Tompkins has a great joke because he worked at a Betamax in Philadelphia. This is when he was in Philly living.
Yeah.
Here. He worked at a Betamax only place
which
because
is
that
just
was
like
the
a
big
bigger-
contention.
It's just like a
DVD.
bigger cassette.
And it offered more quality. It had higher resolution. But
Yeah.
everyone was like, "Who gives a shit? I'm not buying a Betamax." You know what I mean? It's like an iPod and like a Discman. They're like
It was
the Discman better
So this
quality.
poor laser disc never caught on either. It was
No.
just like it just never made it anywhere. But now with DVDs, and now it's even DVDs are a thing of the past. Like I have all these DVDs lying around my house. That was a thing. People were gifts for me for the longest time.
Yeah.
Or anything with baseball related DVDs.
Now you think they're gonna show back like records, like people have their record collections, and everyone for the nostalgia they put on.
I think they
those
will, but
same-
here's the problem: TVs are it's going to be like you have a hard time. Well, I guess the TVs still come with the red, yellow, white because like the old Nintendos. Like I was going to say,
Yeah.
will TVs eventually just not have the hookups for them, and then you'll get to a place where
Input output. Yeah.
But you're right. But you know what? Hey, if you can still hook up an old school Nintendo, then maybe they're going to hang.
I mean, the sad part about it is like companies, the movies you buy on Amazon now, like people have, it's been talked about. I'm sure there's message boards all over the place being like, we don't really get these movies if we get off of this platform. So they're really not ours. Like the people have been making sure they can still have the movies they bought. So
You're right.
I think there's still always going to be
Kind of
the-
like books. How people always want to hold.
yeah, there's going to
a
be
book.
something where like I have this, whether it's a file, USB, something. Or, yeah, it's interesting.
But it's like, but
Wait,
yeah.
you mentioned movies, but like, did you guys also? And then we're talking theater, so we're talking home box office, right? Going to Blockbuster.
you're right.
How much stuff did you guys sneak into the movie theater? Come on now, that's a game unto itself. My sister was sneaking in popcorn. We weren't even paying for popcorn.
Oh, really? You sneaking popcorn?
My sister had a big old bag. You're like,
That's
you
great.
smell like fresh popcorn. I wonder what it could be. Like,
I the last time I went to a movie, you know what? I think I know the last time I went to a movie theater. I fell asleep during Lord of the Rings. I fell asleep twice during that movie.
That movie, well, depending
I
on
fell
which
asleep
one.
twice. No.
There's one I went because I didn't have any interest in it, but
I had zero
it kept
interest
like
in it.
fading, like the movie was over, and I get all excited, and I got back on. Now, but this was I was like in high school, and I think I was a smoker back then, so I was
Oh,
pissed.
so you
'cause
were
I wanted to go
jonesing.
up- I was jonesing for a cigarette because it was like 3 hours in, because I would get that
God.
tickle in my throat because when you're a smoker and you haven't done it, you get that tickle in your throat.
And
you
you're
have
like, I need to go
cough.
Oh, you got
And
to
you're like coughing, and it's so
Oh.
uncomfortable. You're like, oh, the only thing that'll fix this, another cigarette.
The thing that made it come.
Yeah.
That was weird. The
thing that made it
come.
worse.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
maybe we'll edit that. You're
Write
supposed to
that
say
time
pause
down.
after you do that. I went to Lord of the Rings high. I thought, I don't know. We got high. We went to Lord of the Rings, and I was so fucking upset. One of my boys liked it. He was into it. I fell asleep. I was so fucking. I was like, this is the worst fucking movie
Well, I've
never
been
seen
going
it. I
to
don't
the-
like them. I never have. I'm
get
sorry
you.
if you love them. But sitting in that movie theater high, packed to the gills,
Right.
fighting for armrest, and I done. I don't think I've been in a
What do
movie
you feel?
theater
How do you
since.
feel about the fact that you get to pick your seat now? Before
That's crazy.
what you think? So like before, even your average theater now, you pick your seat before you get assigned seats now to the theater. So like back in the day, if you didn't get there early, you were out of luck.
Yeah.
But now if you
Now
buy your
you-
ticket online, you can get that front row center. It's your seat.
Well, are movies come out? They go right to streaming services, or they go right to like like you can order it, or some you have to go to the movie because people were going to Barbie. Is that because you couldn't get it any other way?
seems
So
like-
Al's been in a time capsule.
Yes.
Is what's been going on. He just got out. In case you're wondering,
I don't know
Like,
if you
I'm like the
All
guy
all
who
of
just got
these
out of prison who
questions.
doesn't understand how the
He's
internet
like-
works.
he's like, how does this whole
So they can see this too?
society thing work now? No, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I saw Oppenheimer in the theater
In the
when
theater.
I was on tour. One of the other guy named the Angry Gym Teacher, Tom Feline, shout out. He and I went to Oppenheimer, and it was a 3-hour movie.
Now, and you couldn't have ordered that any other way. The only way you could have seen it is in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Well, I think what some of they're doing is they're releasing it on like demand, but it's like $19-20
Yeah.
to like rent it for the 12-hour period. or
We're in a
whatever
new
it is.
age right now, and we don't understand exactly what's happening because it seems like they'll release it in theaters and have it ready. It's already ready to drop on whoever bought it, whatever platform. But they'll see how it does. Is they want the money. They want the money quick because they make money fast, right? Like, and it's select kind of thing for people. But then they go like, all right, did it not do great? Okay, put it on the platform. So you might try to see it, and then like I did this with what did I end up buying? I wanted to see the new Evil Dead.
Okay.
It ended up like free on the platform that I already buy like 2 weeks later. I thought it was only going to be in theaters for like the theater runs are now short. So it might be in theaters for 2 weeks and then like, all right, that peaked. And
I took the girls to Barbie, but it's you're paying for it. We went matinee, so whenever we go, I go matinee because they didn't even make it through Barbie because it wasn't really made for them.
Yeah.
So like by the end, they want it out. If it's not animated, it's not for them.
Gotcha.
So it's like, but even that you got to pay for the tickets. Even the tickets, like the three of us go. You're in, even if it's a matinee, there's $24. And then
yeah,
I'm
it's
getting
expensive
them a popcorn. I got them each their own small popcorn.
you don't need to get that popcorn. You can sneak it in like my sister, baby.
I don't
Don't
know.
buy the
See, I don't
candy.
think
Don't buy
my
the fucking
daughter.
candy.
I don't know if Alicia would let me. She's got that
she would
rigid
tell on
rule
you.
follower. I think she would. I think she would struggle with that.
Okay,
But
well, at
it would
least-
be a great idea because we were sneaking them because you have to do that. Did you guys actually go to the actual theater? I mean, we're talking about movie theater. Did you guys ever go to plays growing up or musicals or anything
Oh
like that?
shit.
I was a teenager by the time I got to see Phantom of the Opera. By then, I think I might have, like a senior in high school or a junior in high school. And
So
I loved it.
we went when I was young. Well, so I don't know if this is the gay culture of my family, but like we had people that owned dinner theaters, so we often would go to like dinner theaters. I did acting
Nice.
lessons real young, so I was in some of the
There you go.
productions.
My-
But so like I had an interest in going to theater, so we would go to I'd go on. My school even took us to like. I think we saw Miss Saigon, which was kind of a weird thing to
Ooh,
take a
okay.
Catholic school to. But like in ninth grade, I think we went to New York trip. We saw Miss Saigon as part of my
We,
Catholic school.
My grandma used to take us to the theater.
Yeah.
She would take it. I believe we saw Cats, The Nutcracker.
So you wasted some time on cats. Got it.
Yeah, well,
We
that was-
were- Sight
that
and
was
Sound
weird.
in Lancaster. I don't know if you've ever been out there. It's more like religious stuff. But like they do, like when they do a thing of Noah, they actually have the animals in there. It's
Really?
like live at like
Oh,
it's
no
intense.
shit.
If you've never been to Sight and Sounds out there, it's like if you're going to like Dutch Wonderland, Lancaster, the outlets, like that's a nice area to kind of see it. But we used to go to like different playhouses and see.
That's a probably pretty memorable thing, right? That's good to do. My mother used to take us to some like dance performances.
Because there's
and some
something about seeing
music
people
stuff.
do things live because then you're like, wow. Like I just had
Yeah.
such admiration for people who clearly had to practice that. Like I had friends who tapped. I took some tap dancing lessons, but like I'd seen these people who did Irish jig dancing. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they
that's
took time out
crazy.
of their day. Like there's only 24 hours in a day, and they were dedicating
Yeah.
hours
To being
learning
perfect
stuff.
timing with their little shit. Yeah, that's
So it made me appreciate that, and I think that was cool because then it got me active into theater and doing stuff like that.
no. I think that's a good. I think going to theater is a good one. I think culturally, that's
Yeah,
Get
because
you a
I don't know
Playbill
how
and
many
fucking
people
chill
do.
out.
I'll tell you this: I get a huge benefit with Alicia. We have an access card through PA, and the Arts does a huge reach out for kids with disabilities to get them involved. So we get $2 admissions to anything. So if we want to go to Longwood Gardens, which is normally like $25 a pop
Nice.
to go in there, $2
Nice.
for four up to 4 people. So if we
gosh.
go as a family, $8
That's a win.
to go into Longwood Gardens.
That's a win.
If we go to Ben Franklin Institute, $2. Wherever, Please Touch Museum, $2. But if we go on once a month, they open at 9 a.m. So the 17th of September, we're going 9 to 11. They'll open for free, and me and my other daughter will all go.
You know the art museum's free on Sundays. Did you know that?
I knew that it was free on Sunday. Yeah, like every day, every museum has a day or a time. Like even in Europe, if you go to the Prado, like after 5 o'clock, the last 2 hours you can go for free.
Did you know it was free on Sundays?
Yeah, I went to art school, so yeah.
Okay, yeah. That
It
was
went-
like the first question of the
Yeah,
final.
yeah. It moved from Wednesdays to Sundays at some point. I think it used to be Wednesday nights, if I remember. But yeah, it's a great free service. It
Sandy
does.
and I,
you know.
one of our first dates was
How'd you love
at
it?
the art museum. On the
Nice.
free day.
Oh yeah.
On the free day, yes. So we didn't pay anything. I didn't pay anything. Well, I don't know. I don't even remember whose turn it was to pay or what we were doing, but we ended
Dates
up
are fun.
we ended up going to the art museum. I had never been there.
Nice.
Art's interesting. I like the medieval, the weapons and shit.
Oh,
That
you
was
got to
cool.
see-
That got my attention. Some of the stuff, it is cool. No, okay. Let me back up. I don't want to sound like a dick. You see things in the book. You see things on the internet. You see, and then you go see it in person. It is different.
Right.
It's not the same.
Well, it's like a picture of stuff like
Yeah,
where you're like seeing like it was all intentional. It wasn't like a random photo. Everything in there was like a director's cut of a movie. Like everything in there is by design. And the thing was cool for me, I had to take an art history class in high school. In order to graduate high school, you had to take a trimester course. So it was like, a 12-week course,
Yeah,
but it was art history, and that helped me get an appreciation. Then studying Latin and like Greek mythology. And
Oh,
stuff.
you were like
Then you're like
in
the number
times.
one thing people were painting were either kings or Greek
naked-
myths,
And naked broads,
and
right?
so
A lot of
like
naked broads being painted.
yeah. Well, it's funny. Hannah Gadsby and the two of her specials does some things because she was an art history major, and she does a whole thing at the end of I think it's Douglas, where she ends up showing all of this artwork, and so she involves it with her comedy, and it's so funny. But she does a bit on women. She's like, it was always women in threes, naked in the forest, just waiting for men to name all the things.
Pretty much.
It was like,
I think I saw the Van Gogh picture with the flowers. I think that's at the art museum. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
he
I'm
liked
very
yellows, right?
familiar. He liked yellows.
He liked
Yes.
the color yellow because there's drugs in his on.
Yeah, yeah.
the
no
only
shit,
time
there's flowers in there.
I had one experience at an art museum that like made me understand. It was transformative, and for me, it was because I was in Spain studying abroad. I was like studying abroad. Her name was Jill. Sorry, I lied to get one shake from Neil's head, and I know I've met my quota.
Broad is happening far too frequently on this podcast.
know.
No, it's gonna be fun.
So Guernica is the name of this painting by Picasso.
Okay.
That is really like the size of this wall. It's a massive painting, and if you really look at it, I hadn't really known what it was. I just knew it was massive and it was by Picasso. So I got the audio phones, but I was forcing myself to listen to it in Spanish. And I'm standing in front of it, hearing the audio phone in Spanish, and I'm completely understanding. I'm like in tune. I was like Neo in the Matrix. I was seeing the zeros and
You were
ones.
with
I
it.
was
Oh,
understanding
wow.
the Spanish, but I was feeling the feelings that you should be feeling when you're hearing and listening and watching. And for me, it was a moment I had, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. The only other moment I ever had with it, can you find
Is
it
that
there?
one right there? That's a
It's
badass painting
if you
right there.
type in
Yeah, what was the
GUERNICA. There it is.
Right.
So you can see with that guy in front, you can see the scale. So it's massive. So now if you look at it, so the not to give you a little lesson here, but this basically was Mussolini at the time was trying to test out weapons, and Franco, who was the dictator of Spain, was having a hard time with this region in the north known as the Basque Country. and they were not cooperating because they were original settlers of the island, kind of like we talk about Native
You're
Americans.
quoting your thesis, aren't you? From what you had to
So the problem was he was having a hard time with these. He was trying to unify Spain. These people weren't playing ball because they're like, we're the OGs. We're not moving. And so he lets Mussolini test his bombs on the area there. And so if you look in the bottom center, there's a guy holding a broken sword, meant to symbolize that these people were defenseless against the weapons. Like they could have done they knew enough to defend themselves if it was a fair fight. But they brought a knife to a gunfight.
Oh.
And so and you can see the agony even in like the horse and the mother on the left and the person on the right.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
They're like
I
putting a
see it.
lantern in to like, light up because everybody's
And it
chaos.
says lies and kill,
So it was
right?
it was like, I don't know how long it lasted, but there was this bombing that occurred and he was trying to capture the moment of chaos that these poor people had no idea what was going on. Like all of a sudden these things are falling out of the sky and exploding. Like, in the same concept.
They're indigenous people.
Yeah, kind of like Oppenheimer, like that kind of technology.
Wow.
Nobody had seen that in the moment. So for these people, he was trying to capture how that pain.
moved you. See, so art doesn't visually move me, but this form of art doesn't. Music moves me.
Gotcha.
Music, I get the goosebumps. I'll get emotional. I'll get lost in it. Like music does. This doesn't get, but I felt what you just said, but this doesn't.
But when you're standing in front of it and you're thinking about that, the only other thing of art that we took a trip with students and we were in Florence, Italy, and I had no idea. I turned a corner, looked right, and there was the statue of David by Michelangelo.
Oh,
And when I
heard
tell
that's
you,
a
this is a
pretty grand thing to see.
17-foot statue that I'd only ever seen in a textbook, and I just wow, like. The sheer size, and then you get in there and you're looking at the face and the eyes and the pupils and the veins
and shit,
and
yeah.
he's got the gaze down of like this guy's about to fight Goliath, and you could even just see the mix of emotions in a statue. He took marble and made it look like a real person having a real emotion
Flesh and blood.
in a moment that was captured from this biblical story that everybody back then was
like
hearing
this.
about, and
Did
now
you-
they got
did you
to
cry when you
see
saw
it.
this thing?
What's
Did you
that?
cry?
I didn't cry, but like it was like super like
The weight of it.
it was just like you could like wow. Like,
I've heard it's pretty grand thing to see. It's pretty fucking like breathtaking.
and like it's amazing. The Sistine Chapel in the Vatican Museum. Oh, breath! I mean, this, and it's all these paintings.
He's well traveled. You're well traveled. He's been out there. He's seen it. Have you seen? Have you been out? You seen shit?
Yeah, of course.
When you see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
so in the center of the Sistine Chapel, the thing that everybody is emblematic that if you've never
touch?
been, it's the touch
Yeah.
with the creation of Adam.
Yeah.
Because he basically took stories from the Book of Genesis and made them come to life. But what's cool about the paintings, if you really look at it, the around the figure of God, this like veil it kind of looks like, or this like I don't know, what shawl thing. It's actually in the shape of a brain.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it's like, because again, he was a guy that it was during the Renaissance. So this is a period of like, we know about science, but we also have faith. So if you look that left one is like perfect, where you can kind
Right
of see
there.
the shape of it, right? So you can see how that shape of what's behind God there is
that
the
red
brain
thing.
with the stem coming down. And
Yeah,
so it's
okay.
like, this was a period of time where we're saying, listen, we've heard these stories about God forever, and that's great, and we have faith, but we also have science now. And so that was his way of intertwining the times of that day where there was the Renaissance was this rebirth of not only, the classics, but also science was a big thing then.
Well,
we were
sort of,
dissecting, we were really getting into
Well, it was like the start of
pushing the
science, wasn't it?
limits of what it meant then and being modern for that era. We wouldn't the ERs and the things that we have today, you wouldn't have if there wasn't a period of Renaissance.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially when we're talking about like families trying to get to experience, especially if they get to experience something like culture at the Philadelphia Museum of Art and stuff like that. You got to kind of pick your spots, because even adults, what we're talking about is all good art, music, context makes it rich. So if you don't have the context,
That's it.
a lot of times it's lost. So I would tell people, like, if you don't haven't gone to a museum or even want to take your kids to something, like they see a painter that they like, you're gonna have to do a little prep work. Like let them listen, make sure it's maybe you do the walking tour, like the walking tour, the listening tour, something, because it makes it richer, and also you can still also not like it. Like it sounds like Albert, you just didn't. You might not have, well, just let me just say, like Picasso, you might stylistically just not like that,
don't
but
like
the
that.
context is very, even Jay describing it, you're like, that's even richer now. If you saw that again, you'd be like, oh yeah, that means something. So it matters there. But for kids, you know what I loved was the Please Touch Museum.
That's
That one was huge, man. That was like kids being able to just actually just be like kind of learn and then just touch whatever they want and interact with it and play more with that. With art and kids, I don't think I got a ton. I probably got it from my aunt. I don't know what you guys for culture. It's cool that you got to do theater. You got to like check out theater and stuff like that too,
theater,
especially in New York. I don't know how much of that.
Oh yeah, we were. I don't remember where we were seeing these shows, but my grandmother was putting in effort to make sure we saw things. I think the Nutcracker was on Broadway.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
My grandma took me to the bingo hall. That was my.
There you go. Yeah, it's a
I
lot.
saw some
Elks.
stuff.
Did they have Elks where you lived?
My dad took me to the bar.
It was usually there was usually the basement of a church.
Yeah.
And her dabbers and all the dabbers and all the crazy. But that was the culture I got. From
Even
my
a cool
grandma.
thing would be like, I mean, my school only did musicals, but even a cool thing that I think could have went to was just like even public schools putting on plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could,
Or like public theater.
public theater in general.
But
yeah.
even other stuff, like my mom yesterday took my daughters fishing.
No, that's
My
a
mom
good one.
loves fishing, and so Alicia, we knew Alicia said she wanted to go, and I'm like, oh, 10
You're like,
minutes
I'll be
in,
down there to
she's
pick
gonna
her up,
be
yeah.
pulling parachute. But God bless, my mom's like, well, she said she wants to come, she's gonna come, and so she came, but she just brought a bunch of books. So my mom put the AC on in the car. She sat in the car, read books. They finished, and my youngest loves it, so they're gonna keep going back every weekend, which is another cool thing. Free,
outside.
you just pay.
It's free,
Well,
right.
it's free for her. My mom, as a senior, I think, gets a discount. I mean, you have to get a license now. Once you reach a
Okay.
certain age, you have to have a license, and then you just have to. The bait's pretty cheap. I mean, you could pick worms. They have those vending machines. Some places have like worm vending machines now.
I used to feed those worms to my turtle. I had a turtle for like 20 years. And I would go to the worm vending machine. I'd get night crawlers, and the turtle would eat the night crawlers.
good for you for 20 years. Good
Northeastern
job.
Pennsylvania,
That's
we have fucking
That's
bait
it.
vending machines. But yeah,
But like those are the kind of So I mean, there's so much out there to take your kids to, and you got the amusement parks. Don't be wrong. We have, we used to do Knobles. That was like the
Knoebels,
classic because
right.
it was free. Like you could bring your own food in.
Right.
It was free parking.
Blue
Everything
collar.
was free.
You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
And then
yeah.
only the kids. I mean, it was if the kids were the only ones riding the rides, you didn't have to pay. Like to go to
gave a
Hershey,
shit,
it's like $70 to get in, regardless of if you're
Insane.
going to ride a ride.
you ever go camping?
Yeah.
Like go to the
Oh.
campsite.
Yep.
Put the tent, probably air mattress. I would definitely have an air mattress now.
I don't think
make
we had
some
air-
fires and stuff. You ever
Fancy.
do that one?
There was we have a family video of me at 2 skipping rocks at Keene Lake,
There you go.
which was we did the tent that year, but we did another year with an RV once.
Oh, that's
simple
more of a
RV,
glam. That's
nothing
more of a
fancy.
glam.
It wasn't like a giant art. It was like the small Winnebago,
just to sleep in.
enough. But it was cool because there were so many kids. It was a big so many activities going on.
Yeah, there was like families.
there
There
was-
was like
yeah,
stuff going
oh,
on.
so
Yeah,
much.
that
It
was
was
a
like-
cool one.
so much fun.
I like. I remember a good friend of mine, Tim. We went to World's End State Park in somewhere in PA.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking great, man. Great experience. Essentially free, right? Free enough.
I'll be going there
Free
soon, actually, weirdly
you?
enough.
Are
Yeah,
you
I'm
really?
doing some hiking. Coming up.
Okay. You
Yeah.
gonna sleep
but-
outside, or you gonna hike for a day?
No, I'm a through hiker. Yeah, it's sleep outside all day. Yeah, I mean, geez, when you said inflatable mattress, I was like, yo, that's my aunt would be like, put some leaves together. What
Yeah,
are you
right.
doing?
My wife's family did a retreat with their church where they go to, I'm not going to remember of it, but it's a park. It's out like by 183. It's out like if you're going towards like Lancaster. I forget what the name of it is. Swatara, Camp Swatara.
Okay.
And it's cool because like they have the cabins and then they have the mess hall and then the guys like, you take turns cooking, like you're making breakfast for everybody.
Yep.
And you have your campfires. And then there was a trail with like, this big rock hill that's like a big trail that you're climbing up these kind of rocks.
Sure, yeah,
And
yeah.
So, if we did that a couple of years early on. That was a lot of fun.
That's like you're just getting out and living.
yeah.
That's what it is. You get out and live. You go and experience
There's
something.
just so many things
Yeah.
to do. And it you know what breaks my heart when I hear how much some of these people are living these second virtual lives. Like people are getting caught up in alternate.
Yeah.
They're living an alternate universe. So there are a number of kids. And it's not every kid, but I've heard kids come in and talk about their Second Life character, and they're like, legit, like that's how they're spending their afternoon. Because here's what's sad about it: if you're going to school and you're getting bullied all day, and you don't have any friends, and you're like, and then all of a sudden you have this area where you can like go and be around people who accept you, or you can create a character to be like the things that you're gonna. It's like I get it, but it makes me sad. It's just like it's so weird.
Seems dangerous.
Well, all those are very positive things, but the problem is that those are different experiences than human experiences. And that's what science and social scientists are pointing out. Like, listen, we get it, you're having those endorphins, but like those endorphins are very different. We were studying that, and that's what Jay.
Now, speaking of movies, wasn't that what Lawnmower Man was about?
It's like
Right? Wasn't that what it? Didn't he like fall in love with like a lawnmower? Some
To an
weird shit, but it was like he
extent,
was like living through like
so
a
so
system.
there's just so much opportunity, but there's still so much to do classic, like all the old classics.
classics, yeah.
Those
That's what
like
it is.
we don't want hiking to become the Betamax of the future. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We don't want it to come where it's fading because and it won't. Like some of those are perennials. They're just they're evergreens. They're going to be there forever. And so there's just so many things as a family
Well,
you can
what was
do.
the sci-fi?
I get worried about, as someone who uses state parks, has been to multiple, like, these places need funding. These places, if for some reason a society looks at it and goes like, well, we don't really use it. A lot of us are living online. Like, why are we even having it? I'm like, you're going to see them go. You're going to see
There's
them
gonna be condos
gone.
in World. You're right. There's
What's
gonna
the
be
problem? Once
condos
you
in
make
World's
that-
End State Park.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I get worried
Yeah.
about that kind of stuff. So you
Yeah,
have to
I
keep
mean-
using them. They're free and they're cheap. Again, my mother would be like, these are things, and my sister would be like, these are also cheaper things that we can do as a family that
that's what
are
it is.
enriching.
That's what it is.
So
The
I go to
price.
I go to this place called Brewed Awakenings. It's a coffee shop by me now, and the family is a family of I've taught some of the kids at school, and he was telling me they went on this trip to state parks, and I don't know if it was like somewhere out west, but they have this concept of glamping now. So what they're doing is
Yeah,
there's this person who's like, so it's getting people out there, but also making them comfortable. So the people in the family who might not be crazy about it.
Right.
I also heard Gasper, his brother, did a thing where it's this bus thing where they take you on a bus and you drive overnight and you go to these parks, and then you sometimes you camp out at a place.
They bring you back.
And then they cook for you. Like the bus has like a grill built into the side.
Yeah.
And it's like this thing people do where you're on this bus for like 2 weeks and you're going to
Oh.
all of these places and you're either on the bus sleeping or you're camping at a place.
like this-
and it's a
that's
way
how
to kind of,
That's how cults start.
yeah, right. It does kind of feel
Right?
that
It's like,
way.
all right, right,
really?
the bus. All right. Well, we glamp. We glamp.
It
I can
sounded
keep
like
real
it
with you.
sounded like the
What's
land
glam-
version of a
what does that
cruise.
mean to you when you glam?
Sorry.
Okay, so we went to Montana, right?
Yeah.
Now we're not sleeping under the stars in Montana. We get a nice Airbnb. It's in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
If shit went down, they'd have to probably get a helicopter out there to rescue you. You're out there,
Right.
but there's Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? So you get you
Yeah, okay, that
you
makes
get
sense.
there's Netflix. You could watch a movie. Now no one was doing that. We were out and about at Glacier National Park, which is right. We were in Hawaii. We stayed in the middle of the woods in Hilo, Hawaii, in a treehouse that was a very nice tree. It had a shower in it. You know what I'm saying? So we're out there, we're in the woods, but we're not like, and I have in my life been under the stars and I can make a fire and all that stuff, but we go out in the woods, but we like to have heat. You know what I mean? We like to have AC, you know, so we glamp a little bit, but
That's fine.
you
But,
know,
yeah.
that's what we like, but we like to be in the woods. We like to be secluded. We like to be away from people. That's especially for me, that's the ideal vacation. That's what I like.
Gotcha.
I don't like being around people.
Al doesn't like people. That's a great way to end.
That's
I like
weird.
that.
I don't like people.
Well, yeah. Well, you like people coming to see your shows. Where are you going to be? You got anything coming up?
What do I have coming up? I'll be at Soul Joel's for a 7 for 7 with Steve Rinaldi.
It's probably on the 28th, I think.
Is that what it is? 28th. I got a comedy on the Crick. I'll be at Penn's Landing. I don't know what else. I got stuff. Go check me out on Instagram. You could do that.
That's right.
Albert Davis _4th. And all that stuff will be on there.
That's great. Yeah,
What world tour you headline? What,
I know,
what do you got
right?
going on?
I got Late Night Laughs coming up at Soul Joel's on Friday. I'm going up. This will be after this. So yeah. So I haven't even thought about when this is dropping. I'll be at Church of Satire on the 15th and 16th.
I think
of
I'll be at Church of
September.
Satire, right?
That's right. I just saw Jim Bryan at Soul Joel's yesterday.
Jim Bryan,
check
what up?
out Jay Yoder Comedy on all the platforms or jyodercomedy.com. And you know, if you're listening to this and you like what we're doing, go to the platform you're on, leave a comment. review, a rating, anything you can
Yeah.
do to help
Interact
us.
with us.
Yeah, you know, other people want to listen and they don't know about us yet, so you can help.
Seriously, Dad?
Seriously?
Thank you for listening to the dads, for once. Give these daddies a break. And maybe follow, subscribe, like, and comment to the dads on Instagram and YouTube at Seriously Dad Pod. Rate and review Seriously Dad Podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Seriously, Dad?
How you doing? This is Neil Wood from the Cult of Us podcast, speaking on behalf of Drop 10 Media Network, the network you're currently listening to. Make sure to check out all the other podcasts on the network. You can go to drop10.com to check them all out. Make sure to like, subscribe on everything that you see Drop 10 on. We appreciate it. Go to drop10.com now.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.